Hi, my name is Shakita Young, and I will be doing my presentation on B.F Skinner. Okay, Skinner, also known as Boris Frederick Skinner, he was an American psychologist, behaviorist, author, inventor, and social philosopher. B.F. Skinner developed the theory of operant conditioning. Skinner is regarded as the father of operant conditioning, which roughly means the changing of behavior by the use of reinforcement, which is given after the desired response. So Skinner identified 3 types of responses or operants that can follow this behavior. And I will talk more about that as we go on with the presentation. Skinner introduced a new term into the law of effect, and that term is reinforcement. Reinforcement is the key element in Skinner's theory. In 1948, Skinner studied operant conditioning by conducting an experiment using animals, which he placed in what they call the Skinner box. So, operant conditioning. Operant conditioning involves learning through the consequences of behavior. So, operant conditioning can be described as a process that attempts to modify behavior through the use of positive and negative reinforcement. Through operant conditioning, an individual makes an association between a particular behavior and a consequence. So here are a couple of examples of operant conditioning. Number 1, parents rewarding a child for their good grades with candy or some other prize. Another example is a school teacher who rewards points to those students who are most calm and well behaved. And the third example is a form of reinforcement that is given to an animal every time the animal presses the lever. So in this case, a form of reinforcement such as food, that could be the reinforcement that is given to the animal every time. And another example of, like, for example, a hungry lion could be the animal that presses the lever for the food. Here is a picture of operant conditioning, which we will talk more about. Okay, so positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement strengthens a behavior by providing a consequence that an individual finds, rewarding. An example of this is the teacher example, which if a teacher gives you $5 each time you complete your homework, which can be considered an award, the $5, you will be more likely to repeat this. The Skinner box experiment is another example of positive reinforcement. So in this experiment, Skinner showed how positive reinforcement worked by placing a hungry rat in his Skinner box. The box contained a lever on the side, and as the rat moved about the box, it would accidentally knock the lever. So immediately after, a food pellet would drop into the container next to the lever. The rat quickly learned to go straight to the lever after a few times of being put in the box. The consequences of receiving food, if they pressed the lever, ensured that they would repeat this action again and again. And this is an example of positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement. Negative reinforcement is the removal of an unpleasant reinforcer that can also strengthen behavior. Negative reinforcement strengthens behaviors because it stops it or removes an unpleasant experience. For example, if you do not complete your homework, You give your teacher $5 every time you don't complete it. You will complete your homework to avoid paying the $5. This is strengthening the behavior of completing your homework. So Skinner showed how negative reinforcement worked by placing a rat in the Skinner box and then subjecting it to unpleasant electric current, which caused it some discomfort. As the rat moved about the box, it would accidentally knock the lever, and immediately after it did so, the electric current would hit the rat. The rats quickly learned to go straight to the lever after a few times of being put in the box. The consequences of escaping the electric current ensured that they would repeat the action again and again. And this is an example of negative reinforcement. And punishment. Punishment can also be known as weakening the behavior. So, punishment is defined as the opposite of reinforcement, since it is designed to weaken or eliminate a response rather than increase it. Punishment is also similar to reinforcement. So like reinforcement, punishment can work either by directly applying the unpleasant stimulus, like a shock after a response, or by removing a potentially rewarding stimulus. For instance, deducting someone's pocket money to punish undesirable behavior. So there are many problems with punishments. Here are just a couple. So punished behavior is not forgotten, it's suppressed. So behavior returns when punishment is no longer present. Punishment causes increased aggression. So this shows that aggression is a way to cope with problems. It also creates fear that can generalize to undesirable behaviors, such as a fear of school. It does not necessarily guide towards desired behavior. So reinforcement tells you what to do. Punishment only tells you what not to do. And here's just one of the many popular quotes by B.F Skinner. The way positive reinforcement is carried out is more important than the amount. And then here's my cited page. And that concludes my presentation. Sorry guys, technical difficulties. I'm trying to